to that point. Having missed all of that, if there are some bronze players watching this stream right now, hopefully I'll still be able to talk about how some of these fit in even at the silver level and how it carries on into the other levels. But if you're just starting out, if you're new to the game, I think at bronze 5, which is basically where you're just beginning, I pose a question: what is the MOBA, or what is a MOBA? And basically that's where I started out, was not knowing what a MOBA was. And at bronze 5, really you're just learning the rules of the game. You've been playing a lot of quick match. You've been playing maybe some unranked, maybe even watch HGC, maybe you'll go on Reddit, maybe you'll look at some Heroes Hearth content, whatever it may be. You're just starting out brand new and you get placed in bronze 5, or maybe you've been playing for a while and you just don't know where to start. I would go back to the fundamentals, go back to what is a MOBA, what is the goal of the game, what are the rules of each. Now Heroes is a little bit more complex and a little bit more complicated because there are so many battlegrounds. The rules change every time. At this level, you should know, though, by the end of bronze 5, you should be able to say, hey, 3 tributes make a curse, and a curse shuts off buildings that I can now walk into without them hitting me. 3 tributes equals a curse that turns enemy minions down to 1 HP that I can clear very quickly, even if I'm just by myself. This is where you just learn how each and every single map works, and you're just starting to figure out what all the other heroes do. That way you're not caught by surprise by any of those things. And it takes a while. With so many heroes now, sometimes you're still caught off guard by what some of the heroes do. Which is where bronze 4 comes in, is you're starting to choose your style of hero. I like these heroes, and they either fit your playstyle, they either feel strong to you, or you like the tools that they bring. So these are your heroes that you want to get good at, that you want to level up. Maybe even read that there's a guide out there that says this is who you should carry through Hero League with, but you're starting to think, hey, I like these heroes, these are the ones that I'll practice, and they're the ones that I'll bring up as I'm trying to level up in Hero League. At bronze 3, it's QWER and other buttons. At bronze 3, you're starting to figure out all the abilities, but more so you're starting to figure out your own abilities and when the best time is to use them, when to time certain abilities and certain combinations. And this is where at bronze 4, where you've started to pick a few of your heroes, not saying you should one trick, because to get into Hero League you have to have quite a hero pool, but because you have a smaller hero pool, you have a more intimate knowledge of all of their cooldowns, so that every time you pick a hero, it's within a smaller subset, so that you don't have to warm up on 39 different heroes before you go into Hero League. You warm up on 1 or 2 or 3, and those are likely the same ones that you're going to be playing in your match. So you already know what the buttons are, you already know what the cooldowns, the mana costs, and you're starting to figure out, I can get away with these kinds of combos and these kinds of plays. Once you've kind of mastered your own heroes, or you feel like you have a good idea of what their abilities are, you start to get into bronze 2, where you start to learn some of what I'll call the more hidden mechanics, the ones that aren't printed out in text for you, that say this ability costs 50 mana. At bronze 2, Shoot and Scoot, Coach Kala put out a really good video about stutter stepping, and this is what it's about. Stutter stepping. Nowhere in the game right now does it tell you to do that, except now that we've got this great content, this great video, is that you can move, shoot in the downtime, and it's how to maximize your hero's damage and maximize your hero's abilities. This is similar to moving Li Ming off to the side, throwing an orb at the side of a minion wave so that orb cleaves everyone right in the pocket, versus throwing in a Li Ming orb into the corner minion, just spreading all that damage out and clearing out the wave, as opposed to using it on a single target. So these are some of those hidden mechanics that, specific to your character, you should be starting to pick up how to best optimize some of those abilities. At bronze 1, you're starting to make the climb. The most important thing, I think, at this point is that you are still enjoying the game and still enjoying the climb. If you're not enjoying the game, there's really no point to playing Hero League. You should just play Quick Match or Unranked, because those are really more fun play modes, I think, for most people. Or even jump into a team, play some Team League or one of the more casual recreational leagues out there. A lot more fun to be had when you play with a lot of players. But at Bronze 1, it's about play and KDA. Hey, Fringe Average, thanks for that. Thanks for the support. Hopefully you enjoy the show tonight. At Bronze 1, it's all about play and KDA. So at Bronze 1, you're enjoying the game, you're enjoying your heroes, and your KDA becomes very important here. You provide the most value to your team when you're alive. Your biggest goal, actually my biggest goal before I even jumped into Hero League, was for whatever heroes I was practicing, I would try to play them in Quick Match, regardless of enemy composition, regardless of team-friendly composition. I would try to go through every match without a single death, but trying to maximize my role. If my role was warrior, I would try to soak up as much damage without dying. If I was an assassin, I would try to do the most damage without dying. If I was support, I would try to heal the most or have more clutch heals without dying, so that I was always available to my team to do my job. But Bronze 1, I think, if you can go through the majority of your games with 0 deaths, in general, that's going to do you a lot more than trying to take trades and justifying those trades as worthwhile. Because I think at this level, we're not really quite sure if my death for their death was worth it and when that trade should happen. Right now, in general, if you're alive and the enemy isn't, that's a good thing. As you move up, you're finally breaking through, you bust out of bronze, you get into silver. Silver, I think, is where you realize experience is pretty good. At bronze, you can get away with getting that high KDA, grouping together for some team fights, basically safety in numbers. You get to go ahead, take people down, and the more of you there are, the stronger you feel. And once you get to silver 5, all of a sudden it becomes very important to make sure you don't miss soak. You're catching those off lanes, you're making sure you get all of the minions, and maybe, just maybe, that level 1 team fight in the middle isn't so worth it. Maybe you should be splitting into those off lanes to catch that early soak. Just tell your team to play safe. This is about the level where I think that kind of knowledge starts to come in. At silver 4, not only is experience good, but you're starting to recognize the value of mercenary camps. And at silver 4, I think you're starting to master some of those timings, not only when they spawn, but how long it takes you to clear them, how long it takes them to march down the lane, and about how much value they'll get. If siege giants can just throw rocks at towers, if we give them enough time, they'll probably take them down. If you've watched guides, if you've watched other content, which, to be honest, if you're willing to climb, you have to spend the time to go and study, just like everything else. You'll probably learn somewhere that there are certain mercenary timings and there are some standard timings to take the mercenaries. You'll also probably learn which heroes are good at taking mercenaries, and you'll either be one of the people who take the mercenaries, or you'll start directing others to take the mercenaries, and you'll be helping them either by taking their place in a lane, because you know that experience is important, so you'll go take the lane for them and tell them to go take mercenaries, because you recognize the value of both experience and getting the mercenary caps out. At silver 3, this is soak until 10. This isn't just about experience again, but in a lot of ways it is. Soaking until 10, another general rule. You don't really like general rules because they don't work in all situations, but soak until 10 really means watching the experience bar for not just your team but also the enemy team. At this point, silver 3, you should really firmly know how to race for experience, how to get to that level 10, how to get that experience advantage. And you're starting to look at the team fight and talent tier advantages and disadvantages. Silver 3, it should be pretty obvious, a level 10 versus a level 9 fight is never a good thing. Some would say that probably be in bronze, but silver 3 for sure, you've got it mastered. You're looking at every single talent tier. Even if it's level 7 to level 6, that's a bit of a hint that there is a talent advantage. Level 13 to 10, level 16 to 13, anytime that's there, your team should be pinging it. You should be calling it out. It's that soak until level 10 kind of style. After that, one of the other generalizations is soak until 10, and then it's group up. Group up for those team fights. At Silver 2, you should be starting to think, when is it better for me to actually start grouping up with my team? If I'm always soaking until level 10, am I missing something out? My team keeps dying in the off lane while I'm off soaking by myself here. All of a sudden, what's the best time to leave some of that soak, group up for a team fight, or maybe catch somebody when they think I'm supposed to be in lane and then surprise them somewhere else? This is now about where we are right now. We're just getting into Silver 1. So after we climb Silver 1, we'll talk about what kind of adjustments we make at Silver 1 to try and get out of this level. All right, now the time that you've all been waiting for. Time to